The Tusken Raiders have been attacking settlements on Tatooine for generations, going all the way back to the first wave of colonists. Still, almost no one stops to ask why they fight. When Anakin Skywalker found his mother dying in a Tusken camp after being held captive for an entire month, he reacted the same way most outsiders do. He believed they hurt her because they were savages. That's the easy answer. But the real truth cuts deeper than that. What happened to Shmi Skywalker was not random cruelty. It was a message. An example. Both Canon and Legends sources point to a brutal system that shapes how the Tuskens define strength, loyalty, and survival. The first dark truth is this: pain is their language of worth. In canon continuity, when Boba Fett trains with a Tusken tribe in The Book of Boba Fett Season 1, Episode 2, the pattern becomes clear. A Tusken warrior keeps knocking the gaffi stick from Fett's hands again and again. No soft lessons, no step-by-step guidance, no calm explanation. Just impact after impact until he adapts. He learns through bruises, not words. Through failure, not comfort. And this isn't some special treatment for outsiders. It's their way of life. Even Luke Skywalker's encounter in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, follows the same script. A Tusken Raider swings that curved, double-pointed gaffi stick and drops Luke instantly. No warning, no hesitation. To outsiders, it looks savage. But inside their culture, it's structure, it's discipline, it's survival in a desert that shows zero mercy. The weapon itself tells a story. It's described as a dreaded axe-like blade, curved with double points, built not just to wound, but to intimidate on sight. Settlers feared it for generations because it wasn't just a tool of war, it was a symbol. That gaffi stick was crafted to send a warning before it ever struck. Maximum threat, maximum damage. No confusion about the outcome, and that same harsh mindset carries over to captives. When Tusken Raiders captured Shmi Skywalker, they held her for an entire month, forcing her through daily suffering. But in Legends continuity, the novelization of Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, by R.A. Salvatore, makes something chilling clear. This was not random abuse. It was evaluation. Through the nods they exchanged and the tone in their voices, Shmi realized something shocking. Her endurance impressed them. They weren't just tormenting her, they were measuring her, testing her limits. That month-long ordeal functioned like a trial where survival itself became proof of worth. Even their cultural education follows this same ruthless code. According to the Essential Guide to Alien Species, Tusken storytellers memorize every detail of tribal history with absolute precision. Apprentices must repeat each story word for word. No edits, no improvisation, no second chances. If a storyteller makes a mistake, it's treated as blasphemy, and in Legends material, execution can follow. Once a story is spoken publicly for the first time, not one single word is allowed to change. Ever. Their history is guarded with fear, not flexibility. Their identity is preserved through pressure. Looking at their combat training, their weapons, their captivity rituals, and even their storytelling, one thing becomes undeniable. In Tusken culture, pain isn't just a method, it's the standard. It decides who matters and who doesn't. When Cobb Vanth shares his past with the Tusken Raiders in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, The Marshal, he lays it out plain. Less than a year before, they hit his settlement and killed half a dozen workers at the mining camp. His answer? Straight retaliation. He struck back and claims he took down nearly twice as many Tuskens. Even with a 2-to-1 casualty ratio in the settlers' favor, the violence didn't stop. It kept going. Neither side saw bloodshed as a reason to pause. No talks, no peace offers, no white flags. Violence became the language. The only message either side respected was force. The fight wasn't a breakdown in relations. The fight was the relationship. When a culture trains its people through pain and physical dominance, it creates warriors who understand one thing: proof through strength. Raiders raised in nothing but combat don't debate, they respond. But warriors alone aren't enough. A tribe needs unity. It needs control. And that's where Tusken identity gets intense. Building a fighter means cutting away distractions. No divided loyalties, no outside attachments, no personal identity strong enough to rival the tribe. That stripping away starts with appearance. During Boba Fett's initiation, also shown in the Book of Boba Fett, he isn't just welcomed, he's remade. They wrap him in Tusken robes, scarves, layered bandages. Every initiate gets the same coverings, the same mask, the same silhouette against the desert sun. No personal style, no unique markers. Under those layers, individuality fades. What matters isn't who you were, it's who the tribe says you are now. The uniform look is not just tradition, it's law. In the Legends novel Kenobi by John Jackson Miller, seeing another Tusken's face is serious enough to spark a duel to the death. The only exceptions are close family, parents, spouses, and children under 16. Outside of that, one glance can mean bloodshed. That's how strict the code runs. This goes way deeper than fabric and masks. It's identity control. Across canon sources, not one Tusken Raider is given a personal name. Not one. They're labeled by function or age. The chief, the Tusken chieftain, a young Tusken, an elder, a sentry. Titles, not names. Roles, not individuals. That pattern isn't random, it's consistent. Even Ben Kenobi, who lived on Tatooine for decades and understood their language, their tracks, and their territory, still referred to them collectively as Sand People or Tusken Raiders. He described their speech as coarse and harsh, but never once mentioned personal identities. That silence stands out. Either they don't use personal names at all, or they guard them completely inside the tribe, never sharing them with outsiders. And the unity doesn't stop there. Every Tusken communicates using the same language system. No noted regional dialects, no clear variations between tribes across different parts of Tatooine. In The Mandalorian, Din Djarin uses the same signs and speech patterns with tribes in different regions. That kind of linguistic consistency blocks regional divisions from forming. No separate accents, no competing subcultures, just one identity, one tribe-first mentality. When individuality disappears, loyalty gets stronger. And that's exactly the point. Individual achievement does not exist outside the tribe. Everything is recorded as collective action, never personal glory. You can see this clearly during the Krayt Dragon hunt in The Mandalorian. The Tuskens fire together. The Tuskens signal together. The Tuskens and settlers pull the massive beast from the sand together. No single warrior is highlighted. No one steps forward for credit. The victory belongs to the tribe, period. Not one Tusken is singled out for bravery or skill. The structure makes personal distinction almost impossible, and that's not by accident. It's design. Anonymity blocks reputation from growing too big. If no one can build a personal legend, no one can challenge tribal authority. The chief rules by position, not by stacking achievements. No warrior can rise through fame, because fame cannot exist. Without reputation, there's no rival power base. No internal competition, no fracture lines forming inside the tribe. It's tight control, locked in place. This system shapes warriors who see themselves as extensions of the whole, not as individuals chasing status. But combat training and shared identity aren't enough. Warriors also need belief. They need a reason that turns violence into something sacred. And that's where things get darker. Tusken spirituality doesn't just allow bloodshed. It frames it as purpose. The third dark truth is this: their faith is built around sacrifice and endless struggle. Tusken religious rituals don't separate faith from warfare. They fuse them together. In the Book of Boba Fett, when the Tusken chief hands Boba Fett a small desert gecko for his vision quest, he makes it clear, Fett must swallow it. No debate, no alternative. The creature will guide him from inside his head. That trip isn't optional, it's required. What follows isn't peaceful meditation, it's intense. Fett sees flashes of trees and oceans far from Tatooine's sands. He faces red-eyed figures. He relives his escape from the Sarlacc. Old trauma crashes into present ritual. The past and the present collide inside his mind. But here's the key: this vision isn't symbolic fluff. It has a mission. He must return with something real, something physical. Fett comes back carrying a branch, the raw material for crafting his gaffy stick. The ritual doesn't end there. After shaping the weapon, the tribe gathers. Around the fire, he spars with fellow Tuskens. Blades clash, sparks rise. Then they circle the flames in a fierce, rhythmic dance celebrating the new warrior. Look at that sequence closely. Forced hallucination, trauma revisited, weapon forged, combat performed, ceremony sealed. Every spiritual step pushes toward one outcome, creating a fighter. If a Tusken returned from a vision quest with calm thoughts and empty hands, initiation would fail. Peace alone means nothing. Their faith doesn't explain combat, it demands it. Tusken religion doesn't react to violence. It manufactures warriors on purpose. Funeral rites follow that same relentless rhythm. In the Book of Boba Fett, after pike gunners slaughter a bantha and several Tusken Raiders, the tribe doesn't retreat into long mourning. That very night, they hold a cremation. Boba Fett carries the body of a young Tusken youth, and the parents cast the remains into the flames. It's swift, it's direct, no drawn-out grieving, death in the daylight, fire by nightfall. Honor comes through burning fast and moving forward. No pause button, no soft landing. That rapid cycle changes people. When grief is compressed into hours instead of weeks, emotion has to be controlled or shut down. Warriors who dwell too long on loss won't survive in the dunes. Attachment becomes a risk. The ritual teaches them to absorb pain and keep moving. You see the same mindset during the Krayt Dragon hunt in The Mandalorian. 3 Tuskens step toward the cave and unleash piercing war cries that echo across the desert. Those cries aren't random noise. They wake the dragon on purpose. It's tactical positioning, yes, but it's also ceremonial. The hunt becomes sacred the moment the cry rings out. Combat and faith are locked together. Initiation demands visions that lead to weapon forging. Funerals transition straight back to survival. War cries announce danger as ritual performance. If a Tusken refused to fight, what happens? They couldn't complete initiation. They couldn't fully honor the dead. They couldn't take part in sacred hunts. For them, peace isn't neutral. Peace breaks the code. Warriors trained only through combat, stripped of personal identity and spiritually commanded to fight, can't survive on numbers alone. A culture built around constant conflict needs a way to replace its losses. If every outsider stays an enemy, extinction becomes a real risk. So the answer isn't endless killing, it's transformation. The fourth dark truth is this: outsiders are absorbed to strengthen the tribe through total cultural assimilation. In the Legends novel Kenobi, it's revealed that Tusken Raiders regularly replenish their numbers by bringing outsiders into their families. One character even mentions that a human sister joined their tribe years earlier through this exact process. That's not rare, that's policy. Assimilation isn't casual, it's systematic. The outsider doesn't stay separate. They are remade, clothed the same, trained the same, taught the same code. Old identity fades, tribal identity takes over. You can see how deep this runs with Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. He communicates with Tuskens using their sign language. He negotiates the Krayt Dragon alliance. He understands their honor system well enough to stand between settlers and tribe as a trusted voice on both sides. That level of integration doesn't happen halfway. And when Boba Fett helps stop the hover train raids in the Book of Boba Fett, the Tusken chief calls him a good guide. That's serious respect. It means someone capable of leading raids and sharpening warriors with new tactics. Outsiders aren't just tolerated. If they survive the process, they become weapons for the tribe. Approval inside the tribe comes down to one thing: did the outsider fully adopt Tusken values? Contribution to warfare is the measuring stick. If you increase the tribe's strength, you earn respect. If not, you stay on the outside. The assimilation only flows one way. Tuskens don't slowly become settlers. They don't absorb foreign customs unless it boosts combat power. Even speeder bikes were only adopted after Boba Fett trained them to use the machines for raids in the Book of Boba Fett. Technology is accepted only if it sharpens the blade. Outsiders either become Tusken or they remain targets. This power to transform enemies into tribe members keeps their numbers strong. But it doesn't explain why the fighting never truly ends. For that, you have to understand how Tusken justice works. The fifth dark truth is this: Tusken justice punishes groups, not individuals. According to the Essential Guide to Alien Species, sand people are angered simply by the presence of off-world settlers in their territory. They often attack moisture farmers without direct provocation. It's not about what one person did, it's about what category they belong to. The Star Wars Attack of the Clones visual dictionary goes even further. It states that anyone who approaches their sacred wells risks being killed, no matter their intent. No background checks, no personal trials. A settler who just landed on Tatooine faces the same judgment as a family who has lived there for generations. In Tusken law, identity isn't personal, it's collective, and collective guilt never sleeps. The dark truth isn't just about the Tuskens. It's that the settlers use the same mindset. In Star Wars Attack of the Clones visual dictionary, all of Tatooine's native Tusken Raiders are labeled as violent enemies of moisture farmers. No breakdown by tribe, no individual nuance, just one sweeping category. Owen Lars shows that same thinking when he talks about the group that took Shmi. He says, "Those Tuskens walk like men, but they're vicious, mindless monsters." That's collective judgment. No investigation. No separation between one warrior and another. Both sides operate under the same system. Group identity equals guilt. Individual identity barely matters. And that makes peace almost impossible. If neither side recognizes individuals, who exactly can sit down to negotiate? But even collective blame doesn't fully explain why the conflict never cools off. For that, you have to look at territory. The sixth dark truth is this: Tusken culture depends on conflict to survive. Their territorial claims aren't written in contracts. They're enforced through presence and force. Moisture farmers set up homesteads without formal negotiation with local tribes. The Tuskens respond with raids to defend what they see as ancestral land. You see the escalation clearly in the Book of Boba Fett, when the Pike Syndicate runs hover trains across desert routes that cross land claimed by Tusken tribes. No treaties, no shared agreements, just overlapping claims backed by weapons. When territory is defended by force alone, conflict isn't a breakdown of order. It is the system. The Tuskens answer with organized ambushes, striking often enough that the Pikes are forced to assign armed gunners to every train. What used to be routine transport turns into full convoy defense operations. Neither side accepts the other's claim as valid. No shared courts, no neutral ground. So every territorial clash becomes another firefight. That locks both sides into constant, low-level warfare. Negotiation barely has space to breathe. When Obi-Wan rescues Luke in Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, he mimics the cry of a crate dragon. The Tusken Raiders hear it and scatter fast, assuming a real predator is near. It works, but only for the moment. They retreat, regroup, and return later. Even overwhelming force creates tactical withdrawal, not surrender. The land still matters too much. And when resources enter the picture, things tighten even more. In the Legends source, The Secrets of Tatooine, Tusken tribes fiercely guard hidden desert oases. These spots are life itself. They grow hubba gourds, tough fruit that form a core part of their survival diet. Lose the oasis, lose the food supply, that reality removes room for compromise. A tribe cannot casually share the only water and sustenance it has. Control equals survival. So the pattern feeds itself. Territory fuels conflict. Conflict reinforces identity. Identity demands defense. Every piece connects. And once that cycle locks in, breaking it becomes nearly impossible. Environmental scarcity sparks territorial clashes. Territorial clashes strengthen a culture centered on combat. That culture raises warriors from childhood to answer every threat with force. More fighting leads to more casualties. More casualties demand quick cremations and immediate return to battle. The system feeds itself in a tight loop. Pull out one piece, and the whole structure shakes. It's all connected. But there's one more layer that keeps it alive. Suffering alone isn't enough. Pain has to mean something. It has to feel justified. The seventh dark truth is this: trauma becomes sacred validation. Tusken culture doesn't let hardship break it. It ritualizes it. Personal suffering becomes proof that their way of life is correct. Instead of questioning violence, trauma reinforces it. You can see this clearly in their bond with banthas. According to Star Wars Complete Encyclopedia, Tusken Raiders and their bantha mounts share an almost symbiotic relationship. They rely on each other deeply, like two lives tied together in the desert. It goes beyond transport or labor. During marriage ceremonies, both Tusken partners and their banthas are included, forming a four-way bond. That's serious commitment. And when a Tusken dies, their bantha often goes into a frenzy that can lead to the creature's death. Instead of reassigning the animal, it is released into the wild. In a place where resources are scarce, letting go of such a valuable asset seems irrational. But it isn't random. It's ritual. It's loyalty carried beyond death. And even loss is folded back into belief. The tribe will even weaken its own survival strength to honor the bond with a bantha. That's how serious it is. According to Star Wars Complete Encyclopedia, a Tusken who loses his bantha is viewed as incomplete, socially broken. There's no clean way to restore that status. The loss becomes permanent. Trauma isn't temporary, it brands you. And the ritualization of suffering starts early. The same source explains that many infants perish due to the brutal desert life. Instead of treating those deaths only as tragedy, Tusken culture reframes it. Survival becomes proof of strength. Only the toughest endure the sands. That mindset shifts grief into pride. Loss turns into validation. Pain isn't hidden, it's woven into identity. Environmental trauma follows the same pattern. In The Secrets of Tatooine, clans are described sheltering during violent sandstorm seasons. Legends speak of brutal clashes between tribes over scarce resources during these storms. The stories don't highlight unity, they highlight dominance, strength over cooperation, victory over compromise. Those tales get passed down. The next generation absorbs the lesson. Survive at all costs. Repeat the pattern. No deviation. Then the coming-of-age rites make it official. In Legends continuity, Tusken youths must face extreme trials to be recognized as adults. Some accounts describe hunts for deadly crate dragons, the same creatures whose roar sends even seasoned warriors scattering. Think about that. The very symbol of overwhelming danger becomes the test of maturity. Trauma isn't something they escape. It's something they chase, confront, and convert into status. Yet young Tuskens are expected to face these predators as part of becoming adults. The near-death experience isn't symbolic. It's required. Standing before a crate dragon, an apex beast that can kill in seconds, becomes the gateway to full tribal status. Terror isn't avoided, it's engineered. Without that trial, adulthood doesn't exist. A Tusken who refuses the crate dragon hunt remains a child in social standing, no matter their age. Physical maturity means nothing without proof through danger. And what happens to those who fail? Legends suggest something even colder. If they never return, they are not spoken of again. No long memorial, no preserved legacy. Those who die during the trial are erased from tribal memory, treated as if they never existed. Grief isn't publicly processed, it's absorbed through silence. The loss of youth is folded into the system without pause. But here's where things twist. The same trauma engine that forges fearless warriors also creates cracks. Ritualized hardship builds mental toughness, yes, but it can produce blind spots. According to Star Wars Complete Encyclopedia, sand people are easily intoxicated by something as basic as sugar water. Just water mixed with sugar. That's not a complex toxin. It's simple. Yet their biological and cultural isolation leaves them vulnerable to it. So the system that creates hardened desert fighters also leaves them exposed in subtle ways. Strength in one direction, weakness in another. When a culture pushes everything through trauma, it gains resilience, but it also narrows its adaptability. The Tusken Raiders built a culture where every single piece pushes toward one outcome, creating warriors who can't even picture peace. The desert doesn't reward kindness, it rewards survival. And the Tuskens survived by turning suffering into structure. Every loss, Every scar, every trial became fuel for the same machine. What started as harsh adaptation slowly hardened into full design. That design became tradition. Then tradition became identity. Now, generations later, the system runs so deep that real peace wouldn't just feel foreign, it would shake the tribe at its core. But the Tuskens are only one answer to Tatooine's brutal isolation. On the same planet, under the same burning suns, another native species evolved in a totally different direction, the Jawas. While the Tuskens built strength through open warfare, the Jawas mastered something else entirely. They learned that looking small, scattered, even harmless, can be a weapon too. Two predators, one desert, two survival strategies shaped by abandonment. Zoom out, and the picture gets bigger. The Republic allowed Tatooine to drift into neglect. Entire Outer Rim regions were left underdeveloped and loosely governed. That vacuum gave rise to cultures the core worlds would never tolerate in polished systems. And that wasn't random, it was systemic neglect. Vast stretches of space remain barely mapped, where isolation breeds extreme adaptations. Some species turn to open conflict, others turn to deception. All shaped by environments the Republic chose not to stabilize. If you want to understand how Tatooine's other native species turned desperation into calculated survival and how abandonment across the galaxy creates threats far beyond open warfare, you need to see what comes next. Like the video, subscribe for more deep dives, share this with someone who loves Star Wars lore, and I'll see you in the next one.